In one of the remote cities of Iran, there was an old and abandoned building called Silent Building. This mansion was located in the heart of a dense and dark forest, and no one dared to even approach it. There were many rumors about this house, from strange noises in the middle of the night to seeing mysterious shadows behind broken windows. The Silent Mansion belonged to a rich and old family called the Afshari family, who mysteriously disappeared more than a century ago. Since then, the mansion had been plunged into absolute silence. Some said that this family fell victim to a spell, and others believed that the spirits of family members still roamed that house. One cold autumn night, a group of young adventurers named Arash, Neda, Sarah, and Kaveh decided to go to this mansion and make a film from there. Their goal was to attract audience for their YouTube channel. Arash, who was the leader of the group, said, "This mansion has many stories. If we can record a scary video of it, we will get a lot of visitors." Neda said with fear, "But I heard that whoever went there never came back." Sarah laughed and said, "Rumors. I'm sure it's nothing." Kaveh, who was always looking for excitement, said, "Let's get going before it's too late. Anyway, we're going to be the first to discover this secret." The young people reached the mansion at midnight. The building looked like a gigantic and terrifying shadow in the moonlight. The rusty wooden door opened with a loud sound, and the smell of dampness and oldness filled the interior. They started searching the mansion with their flashlights. At first, there were only empty rooms, broken furniture, and walls full of old paintings. But the further they went, the space became heavier and colder. Neda said, "I feel that someone is watching me." Arash replied, "It's just your imagination. Go ahead." In one of the rooms, they came across old chests. There were engravings of strange symbols on the chest. Kaveh tried to open it. As soon as the chest was opened, a sudden cold breeze passed through the room and the flashlights went out. Neda screamed, "What was that?" Sarah said with trembling hands, "Turn on my lamp." In the low light, long black shadows appeared in the corner of the room. The shadow looked nothing like a human and gradually moved towards them. Arash shouted, "Run away!" The young people barely left the room and ran downstairs. But the doors and windows were closed. No matter how hard they tried, they could not find a way out. On one of the walls, a large painting of the Afshari family could be seen. The faces of the painted people gradually changed and became scary and angry faces. Terrified, Neda fell on the ground and said, "We shouldn't have come." Arash pointed to the box and said, "That amulet. We have to close it." The group barely made it to the chest room. Shadows were approaching them from all sides. The sound of strange whispers echoes in the space. Kaveh bravely took the box and said, "We have to close this and return it to its original place." Neda said with a trembling voice, "But they don't cast shadows." Arash said, "Just try. We must not give up." After closing the chest, the shadows disappeared and the door of the mansion opened with a loud sound. They quickly left the mansion. When they returned home, they decided to check the recordings. But in the videos, scenes were seen that they had never experienced. Mysterious figures in the dark, the sound of moans that had not been heard, and the words carved on the wall. This is just the beginning. A few days had passed since the story of the mansion, but the nightmares did not stop Arash, Neda, Sarah, and Kaveh. They all felt that something from the mansion had returned with them. Each of them saw strange things in their homes. At night, Arash heard whispers from inside his closet. Neda felt someone walking in the darkness of her room. Sarah often saw a shadow similar to the same shadow of the mansion. He had seen it behind his window, and every time Kaveh saw the chest in the recorded videos, he would get a severe headache. One night, Arash was editing the mansion movie when he received an anonymous email. It was written in the email, "Get away from what you don't understand before it's too late." At first, he thought that one of the audience of the channel sent this message. But when he received other messages detailing their presence at the mansion, he realized the matter was more serious. Neda informed Sarah and Kaveh, and they all went to Arash's house together. Kaveh said, "Maybe someone is playing a joke with us?" Neda shook her head and said, "This is not a joke. The things we saw these days are real. We shouldn't have gone back. There's a dark secret there," said Sarah, always trying to be cool. They decided to research more about the Afshari mansion and family. They went to an old library in the city and talked to an old man who was a local historian. The old man trembled when he heard the name Silent Building and said, "You were there? Why did you open that damn spell?" Arash asked, "What was the spell? Why is everyone afraid of this mansion?" The old man said softly, "The Afshari family fell victim to an evil ritual many years ago. On the night they all died, screams and shouts were heard from the mansion, but no one dared to approach. After that, everyone stepped there, never again. It's not like before." Kaveh said, "We have to figure out how to remove this spell from ourselves." The old man looked at them and said, "There is only one way. You must return to the mansion and release the souls of the Afshari family. But this is dangerous, very dangerous." The next night, despite the fear, the four of them went to the mansion again. This time, everything seemed darker and scarier. A cold breeze was flowing in the air, and the trees around the mansion looked like threatening shadows. When they entered, the house seemed alive. The sound of heavy footsteps came from the upper floors, and the doors opened and closed by themselves. Neda said, "I feel that we will not get out alive this time." Arash said seriously, "We shouldn't give up." The old man said we should free the souls. In the same room where they found the chest, they found old prints that showed the secret location of a spell book. The book was in the cellars in the basement of the mansion. They went to the basement with fear and trembling. There, they found an old book full of strange symbols. According to the instructions of the book, they had to light candles and call the names of Afshari family members. As soon as the ceremony started, screams and shouts rose from the walls and shadows rushed towards them from every corner. Kaveh shouted, "Continue! You must not stop!" At the moment when Arash recited the last sentence of the spell, a giant black shadow rose from the ground. He didn't have a face, but there was fear in his eyes. A deep voice said, "You dare to wake me up? So now you will stay in this mansion forever." "No, we're not here to stay. We just want to break this curse." Sarah screamed. The shadow charged towards them. But just at that moment, the candle flames went out and the shadow disappeared with a loud noise. When they opened their eyes, the mansion was completely silent. Everything was like before. Neda said, "Over? Did we make it?" Arash said with a tired smile, "I think yeah." But when they got home and checked out the new footage, they noticed something that froze them. In all the videos, the shadow's voice could still be heard saying,
"I'll always be here.